Hi, I'm Troy Alexander from survivalseeds.net. Today is July 26th, 2010, and this is our test garden. I'd like you to look at some of these plants. Here we've got some pepper plants. These are on the small side. Over here we've got tomato plants. And what we're going to be doing is showing you how to accelerate plant growth. We've just started treating these plants now for about a week with our foliar spray. Foliar feeding is an advanced way of providing nutrients for plants. On the bottom side of the leaves are stomata, and stomata is Greek for mouths. And the stomata are part of the respiratory system of the plant. They breathe in carbon dioxide, breathe out oxygen. But they can also be used for intaking of nutrients. So scientific experiment has shown that the stomata can uptake and translocate nutrients up to 7 times better than root feeding. So we've got a special spray that we'll be applying to these plants, and we're going to show you the accelerated growth from them over the next coming weeks. Come through the garden some more. Here's some additional tomato plants. And we have some pepper plants. You can see they're a bit on the small side. And it's not that the garden's that bad for nutrients. It's got good tilth, it's good soil. We've added manures. We've limed it. We've added wood ash from our wood stove. But the plants just need more help in growing. And that's what the foliar feeding will do. Over here we've got some cucumber plants. As you can see, there's a little cucumber on this one. Now, something to keep in mind, we're at further north than 45 degrees north latitude. Our growing season here is only about 90 days, and this being July 26th, we've only got about 5 weeks to the normal growing season left. So these plants are going to need a lot of accelerating, and I think you're going to see that in the coming videos. Over here we have broccoli and cabbage. Back here we've got some watermelon, some melons, and I believe these are squash over here. Is that correct?
Cantaloupe, watermelon.
Cantaloupe, watermelon, and what are these here?
Maybe squash too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Alexander from survivalseeds.net. Today is August 5th, 2010, and this is our garden as of today. If you look down here, we can see some pepper plants. They've grown quite a bit in the last 8 or 10 days since our last video. And as I was saying, we've just started spraying these with our special foliar spray. And we're going to show you the formula for our foliar spray so you can make it yourself, save a lot of money, and accelerate your garden the way we're doing. And that is in our Survival Garden Secrets book, which you can get from our website. Now, here's a tomato plant. Come along. Some more green peppers. Here we have some of our cucumbers. And you remember the last video about 8 to 10 days ago, I couldn't tell the difference on these plants. Now we can see this is broccoli here. And the cabbage is starting to form. Some celery. That'll start shooting up here soon. And if you recall from the last video, our watermelons are, I don't know if some of these are cantaloupe. They look like watermelons. Our watermelons are spreading out really rapidly. They have done a lot of growing in just the last 8 or 10 days since the last video. We're in our test garden. Today is September the 2nd. It's been about 5.5, 6 weeks since we started our experiment here. As you recall, this garden was looking pretty bad. The plants were very small. That was back last week of July, and we started a spraying program with our foliar spray, and I explained how the plant growth would be accelerated, and we are now seeing that. Here are the green peppers. We come here, we can see some of our cucumber plants. And if you recall, back on July 26th, I believe, was our first film. We couldn't even see that, tell the difference between the broccoli or the cabbage plants. And here you can see we've got some nice looking broccoli. The cabbages are starting to head up. And if we come back here, we can see that the squash plants and melon plants have completely taken over their areas and are becoming quite profuse and going to produce quite well. Thankfully, we have not had a freeze or frost yet, and looks like we'll get some good production out of this garden after all. Here on September the 10th, our garden has suffered 3 hard frosts in the last week, but the efforts of spraying the plants down with water before the sun comes up have kept things growing, and hopefully we continue to thrive. We've been harvesting tomatoes and peppers and broccoli and cucumbers. Here you can see we've got a couple green peppers growing on the plant. So as we come through here, you can see the size of these peppers. And as we've been saying all along, this has been an experiment to show on our test garden here the effects of foliar spray. As you saw, we started on July 26th, and the plants were very, very small. They had been started, say, late March, early April inside. They've been moved outside in mid to late May, and after a couple months of growing, they were very small. And this is to show or give an idea to people that sometimes it takes more than just turning the dirt over and making a garden area and planting seeds in the ground. There's a lot more to growing food than most people realize. A lot of people buy seeds that are non-hybrid, non-GMO, and these are good things, and they buy these to protect themselves, but unless they have a lot of gardening experience, a lot of years of preparing the soil, those seeds are going to end up much like our plants were back in late July when we started this. And as you can see, the effects of the foliar spray, these plants are doing very well. And as I said, we've been harvesting broccoli, these are pickling cucumbers, and that's why they're small. We're growing the main cucumbers on our main garden area, which is elsewhere. We've got cabbage, we've got some pea pods were planted late. Lettuce has been doing wonderfully. It's very tasty lettuce too. And all these seeds that we're using are also heirloom, non-hybrid, non-GMO seeds. And you can see the pumpkins are doing insane. The only thing that did not do real well is the celery, and I'm kind of curious why that is. You see the celery is kind of stunted. But if you look over here, we've got some watermelon in here. There's 3 there, we got 1 here. So the point is, this was one of the tools in our toolboxes. It's probably our most powerful tool, and that's why we used it. is the foliar spray. And in our book, Survival Garden Secrets, we give you the formula for this foliar spray, so you can make it yourself. It's pretty inexpensive to make. If you were to go buy this kind of stuff, it would be pretty expensive, but making it yourself will save you a lot of money. You can have it on hand and use it to help feed your family. Like I said, that's one tool in our toolbox. In our Survival Garden Secrets book, we show you a lot of tools, a lot of different tools that will promote much better growth than what you're seeing here. Keep in mind, we started with very small stunted plants that were roughly 3 months old on a lot of them, and they just were not going anywhere. And now it's a month and a half later, and you can see we're getting actual produce. We've been picking tomatoes, we've been picking peppers. We've been eating quite a bit of food out of this test garden. So I encourage you to get that book, and then you'll be able to outdo this garden even, because you'll be able to use these secrets, these tools, from the beginning of the season instead of starting in late July like we did. Thank you.